and let us all do we can to build a better future.
So Tucker Carlson is apparently enemy number one. He is the bad guy to everybody. Now, do I think anything's going to happen to Tucker Carlson? It better not. The good news is the European Union has ruled out Tucker Carlson sanctions. Lawmakers had reportedly claimed that the bloc could place restrictions on the American journalists for interviewing Vladimir Putin, but the EU has said it has no plans on sanctioning Tucker Carlson. And I'll get more onto that article later. But first, everybody, I'm sorry to ruin your morning. I'm sorry to ruin your mental well-being. If this triggers you, too bad, so sad. Hillary Clinton had to put in her own commentary. Now, shout out to Case Study QB. If this doesn't convince you to follow this man on all of his social media and to support him and his Twitter account, I don't know what will, because I don't know how you sat through this case. I really don't. But apparently, Hillary Clinton's response to Tucker Carlson interviewing Putin. He's what's called a useful idiot. Even though he did journalism.
Tucker Carlson is in Moscow right now interviewing Vladimir Putin.
Right.
The first American, I'll say, journalist to interview Putin since the war in Ukraine began. What does that tell you about Tucker Carlson and right-wing media and also Vladimir Putin?
Well, it shows me what I think we've all known. He's what's called a useful idiot. I mean, if you actually...
Yeah, what does that call you? You ran a piss-poor campaign in 2016 and you lost to Donald Trump. But oh, wait, you had everything working for you. Corporate media, the DNC committing election fraud, denying Bernie Sanders the nomination. Of course, Bernie Sanders being a cuck himself, too, and allowing you and the DNC to steamroll over him and his followers. Yeah, useful idiots. Is someone still bitter about 2016? The answer is yes.
Actually read translations of what's being said on Russian media, they make fun of him. I mean, he's like a puppy dog. You know, he somehow has, after having been fired from so many outlets in the United States, I would not be surprised if he emerges with a contract with a Russian outlet, because he is a useful idiot.
First of all, Tucker Carlson ran a very successful show on Fox News with no advertisers. Number two, in comparison to any other Fox News host, he's had a lot of people on his show, from Dr. Cornel West, Tulsi Gabbard, Jimmy Dore, Glenn Greenwald, a lot of people that a traditional Fox News host would be like, oh, you're a liberal moron or you're an idiot. No, Tucker let them talk. And occasionally, yes, they even changed his mind. That caused Tucker Carlson to have the most number one show in corporate media. Okay? And then Fox News, probably now they're regretting it, got rid of their guy. And what did Tucker Carlson do? Well, him and his followers followed him, and he now has a very successful show on X, formerly known as Twitter. I should call it Phoenix. Come on, put me in the game, coach, for naming things. I got big brain ideas. But anyways, all these people are saying that he's irrelevant. If he's so irrelevant, why does he have a large social media following? If he's so irrelevant, you keep talking about him and talking about him and talking about him. You know what Tucker Carlson's saying to you right now, Hillary Clinton? Thank you for the free press. Jen Psaki, you're saying that he's irrelevant somehow? No, that should be MSNBC's slogan. How can we still be relevant? Because nobody's watching you, BSDNC. The only reason why people are watching you is to tune in for your Trump takes, and that's it.
He says things that are not true. He parrots Vladimir Putin's pack of lies about Ukraine. So I don't see why Putin wouldn't give him an interview, because through him, he can, continue to lie about what his, objectives are in Ukraine and what he expects to see happen. It's really quite sad that not just somebody like Tucker Carlson, who has, as I said, been fired so many times because he seems unable to, correlate his...
Fired so many times, like what? He gets fired at every single job that he's at? I mean, he's had a long stay at Fox. A lot of places he's worked at, he had a long stay at. So there's a couple things to take away from that. It's either one, management and the producers couldn't control him because he wouldn't run the show that they wanted, or either that's just, hey, he's easy to work with too. So what I mean, the thing is, you're saying that he's getting fired. Okay, he's getting fired a lot. Are you comparing him to like your valets or servants that you get rid of? I mean, that you let go. I mean, why do I hear a knock at my door? Is that a red laser beam at my head? This is called projecting. What Hillary Clinton is doing. She's trying to project a narrative, a false narrative on Tucker Carlson.
Reporting with the truth, but also because it's a sign that there are people in this country right now who are like a fifth column for Vladimir Putin. And why? I don't know.
Nobody's a fifth column for Putin. Nobody is. It's like when you compare Trump supporters to Confederates. It's like when you're saying that Bernie Sanders supporters are all straight white males. So, hey, if you're a person of color, if you're a woman, congratulations, you broke the glass ceiling. If you voted for Bernie Sanders and supported him in 2016 and 2020, you can officially put on your resume that I was, for these years, a straight white male. Remember that? You were a Bernie bro? Congratulations.
I mean, why are certain Republicans throwing their lot in? Why are, other Americans basically believing Putin? Why did Trump believe Putin more than our 11 intelligence agencies?
I don't know. Do you have a...
Well, gee, hey, what about that story about Russiagate that turned out to be one big narrative of false lies? But also, isn't that what also led us to this devastating crisis in Ukraine right now? Hey, remember the Hunter Biden laptop story? And everyone was saying that this was classic Russian disinformation. And oh, wait, turns out that it wasn't. Hillary, Democrats, MSNBC. Turns out it was all real. And by the way, quick Wikipedia fact, I remember, hey, let's have democracy in the chat. I want to bring all of you people in. Sit down. Type 1, if you remember when that story came out, that you could freely share it on your Facebook or Twitter account. Type 2, Kit, what are you talking about? Anybody that was trying to share that story, Twitter and Facebook wouldn't let them do it. Because we tried sharing it. A lot of other people tried sharing it. But the Hunter Biden laptop story that was released by the New York Post. And you couldn't share it on Twitter or Facebook. I remember, and so does Petridge Farm. Do you remember? I wonder how many twos will get in the chat. I wonder.
Working theory?
I do have a working theory. But it's more than just the political partisan advantage. There is a yearning for leaders who can kill and imprison their opponents, destroy the press.
Projecting much? I better calm down, because why do I think someone's going to kick down my door and say, Mr. Cabello, you must come with us? Like, okay.
Lead a life that is one of impunity, unbound by any laws. There's a yearning among certain people in our country for that kind of leadership. And I find that absolutely gobsmacking terrifying.
I find it gobsmacking terrifying too, Allie.
Oh, no, it's gobsmacking terrifying. Whoa! Orange boogeyman bad. Woogie boogie 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 boogie. Look, I'm not going to, I'm done repeating that story, but just remember, if we got a talented artist or animator, or if you know someone, perhaps someone could animate of Trump chasing the liberals with an axe all over the, like a Scooby-Doo kind of thing, because that's how they view Trump. And then Tucker Carlson interviewing Putin, it's just another interview. It's just another interview. It's just another interview. Do you want to know why it's being turned into nothing here? I'm going to keep this very simple for all of you listening and watching at home, because if we don't start talking about this more, it's really going to be difficult for us going forward in the next election cycles, because people tend to forget. And I want to just pull this up from, right here. Just want to give a shout out to Cat Turd right here. Hey, look. There's George Snuffleupagus. There's Barbara Walters. I don't know who that lady is. Hey, Oliver Stone. Some dude. Look at all these people. Look, journalism. Woo! Journalism. Look, up. Tucker and Putin. That's high treason. That's high treason. Look at all this. Right here. Live and direct. Let's continue back and listen to and watch supposed journalists give their commentary and analysis to inform the American people.
And it's sort of like we talk about, disinformation on social media. Well, disinformation from people like Tucker Carlson, the platform he has, and the fact.
projecting and being jealous. Jealous that what, he has all these followers and you don't? That he actually can do his own show the way he wants, just like I do my own show the way I want, and you can't? It's okay. It's like high school drama. Like, oh, I hate him so much. I wonder if Senpai will notice me.
That, he's a willing participant to it.
And has been for a while. So he's been a big fan of Viktor Orban in Hungary. You know, Viktor Orban comes and speaks at these events here, and Tucker Carlson goes and does a show from Hungary. He talked before the war came out about how we shouldn't be in bed with Ukraine because he called it a corrupt little country. Ukraine had a corruption problem. There's no problem.
Yeah, Ukraine had a corruption problem? And it's gone now? Why is it gone? Huh? Are you sure it's gone?
Problem, and no question. And when it emerges from this war, they'll have to fix that. We talked before.
I'm rewinding that so you can hear it again. They have a corruption problem, but when the war is over, they'll have to fix that. Listen, I'm born and raised in the city of Chicago, okay? All right? We have yet to fix our freaking corruption problem, okay? And there's a lot of problems in this city. But somehow after this war, Ukraine's got to fix it, right? So that means right now during this war, as we speak, they're still corrupt. Notice he had to quickly move on fast by saying that. That's pure gold. It's outstanding. Here. Just so y'all can hear it one more time.
He's been a big fan of Viktor Orban in Hungary. You know, Viktor Orban comes and speaks at these events here, and Tucker Carlson goes and does a show from Hungary. He talked before the war came out about how we shouldn't be in bed with Ukraine because he called it a corrupt little country. Ukraine had a corruption problem. There's no problem, and no question. And when it emerges from this war, they'll have to fix that because they'll be under the watchful eye of the rest of the world.
Oh, finally! Under the watchful eye of the rest of the world. Okay. It's over, folks. Hey, show's over. Go home. Problem solved. We wasted billions of dollars in that war. You think any of us are going to get that money back? Or, because remember Zelensky was saying, hey, we'll pay you back. Hey, let's have democracy in the chat. Type 3 for Kit. You're an awful, awful, sexist, bigoted, racist man. You're an awful human being. We're gonna get our money back. Type 3 for if you think Ukraine's gonna give us that money back with interest. Type 4. Come on, bro. You're from Chicago. As soon as we gave them that money, they're like, "Give what back? Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. What kind of question is this? Come on." I wonder how many 4s will be in the chat.
It's not a reason for getting invaded by Russia. So
it's more than any other reason. Oh my God.
Yeah, one of the things Tucker said is American journalists will not hold Volodymyr Zelensky to account. It's like, I don't know what you're talking about, man. I mean, we cover that war. There are things that Ukrainians do that are not fantastic, and we
really. Oh, I'm hearing about this now. Jeez, I wish I had popcorn right here just to eat it. Tell me all about it. Because I remember before the war started, a lot of you media outlets would comment on how there was this group, like a right-wing Nazi group in Ukraine, some first name Azov, last name Battalion, and how there was a lot of corruption there. And then when this war started, let's start. Story's gone. I remember when CBS did a documentary video on the weapons that are being sent there and how there wasn't really any accountability. You want to talk about that? By the way, I've recently been seeing on social media, on TikTok and on Twitter of, women are now fighting on the front lines and they got their nails and makeup done. Let me tell you something. You don't look pretty on the front line like that. That is called a psyop. All right. That's what's going to trick guys to go to the front line. You think they're going to send those pretty ladies to the front line? No, they're not. Things aren't looking too good in this war. Okay. And this whole war could have been avoided, corporate media, but you had the Russiagate syndrome, the Trump derangement syndrome, the Putin syndrome.
Discuss it with them at all times, but they are a country that has been invaded by another country.
And it fundamentally believes in sort of like, democracy in a way that Vladimir Putin, who has journalists in jail.
Gee, it's not like there was a political parties that were banned in Ukraine. It's not like there were journalists. Pot calling the kettle black, don't you think?
For 20 years struggled to find its democratic footing, and it really has struggled, but they are trying and trying and trying, and that's what the larger point is. In the same way that in America, if someone doesn't exactly like all of Joe Biden's policies, what you have to look at for this election is it's existential. It's a choice between who's upholding democracy and who's not. That's your
The only real democracy is in the Hardlands media chat, okay? Folks, our democracy died a long time ago. Jimmy Dore told you it a long time ago. The sociopaths are running the country, okay?
issue in Russia and Ukraine. Who's upholding democracy and who's not? But Tucker Carlson is going to be there and be the journalist that none of us are.
And I say, yeah.
Hey, okay, finally, I can agree with you. Well done. Hey, let's rewind that again one more time.
Existential. It's a choice between who's upholding democracy and who's not. That's your issue in Russia and Ukraine. Who's upholding democracy and who's not? But Tucker Carlson is going to be there and be the journalist that none of us are.
And I say, yeah, journalist in quotes.
Yes.
Yeah, just like you guys in quotes. I just find it so funny. So there you go. Hold on.
War came out about how we shouldn't be in bed with Ukraine because he called it a corrupt little country.
Corrupt little country, right? Just one more time to hear this, folks. Just one more time. I'm so sorry. Just one more time.
Because he called it a corrupt little country. Ukraine had a corruption problem. There's no problem and no question. And when it emerges from this war, they'll have to fix that because they'll be under the watchful eye of the rest of the world.
Perfect. Under the watchful eye of the rest of the world. So, folks, stop complaining. Here we go from RT, just to trigger the libs. EU rules out Tucker Carlson sanctions. Thank goodness. The EU has no plans to sanction American journalist Tucker Carlson over his interview with Russian President Vladimir Putin. TAS reports, citing sources, the much-anticipated face-to-face has been confirmed by the Kremlin and is expected to air 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 p.m. GMT on Thursday. So that's today. On Wednesday, Newsweek magazine, citing several current and former EU lawmakers, reported that Brussels could ban the former Fox News host from visiting countries in the bloc. Well, okay, fine. All right. Carlson said he wanted to talk to Putin because it's his duty to inform the people, especially in regard to the conflict, Ukraine conflict. So, okay. Yeah, he has a right to do that. He has a right to do that. That's his right. So, yes, the EU. Thank goodness that this isn't happening. I also want to pull up this tweet here from the Libertarian Party. Tucker Carlson's journalism represents a real chance to end U.S. involvement in the Ukraine for good. For that reason alone, he's doing an incredible service. Ask the tough questions, but release the tape unedited. $113 billion has already been wasted. $113 billion. But remember what this guy said. Hang on. Let's remember what this guy said right here.
With Ukraine because he called it a corrupt little country. Ukraine had a corruption problem. There's no problem and no question. And when it emerges from this war, they'll have to fix that because they'll be under the watchful eye of the rest of the world. It's not a reason for getting invaded by Russia.
So, hey, don't worry about it. According to Hillary, he's a useful idiot. According to corporate media, he's being a stooge. So it's all becoming one big crazy nightmare all around. But folks, the sad truth is, the unfortunate truth is that all the media is upset and they want to put Tucker Carlson on the chopping block. This is what I mean when I say that we have to keep our heads on a swivel because the censorship is going to get all too real. The censorship is going to get intensified. And this is happening under a Democratic administration. I am going to watch that interview that Tucker Carlson did with Vladimir Putin because I have the free choice to do so, and I'm going to do that because it's my choice and it's my right, as it is your right. Each of us, myself included, we all got to come up with our own opinions, our own choices. And at the end of the day, we'll move on and something new will come along. This isn't a fixed point in time. It's just another interview. So, Tucker Carlson, the off chance you ever see this video, we invite you to be on the Hard Lens Media to get your opinion on overall your thoughts with interviewing Vladimir Putin. We'll see what's going on with that. I'll reach out. Do I think that we can get some? Maybe. I'll try my best. After all, it is my birth month after all. So I will do everything I can to bring in outstanding guests because guess what? I like to talk to people. Tucker Carlson, his job is to talk to people and interview people. MSNBC, CNN, New York Times, and everyone else that's having a panic attack over Tucker Carlson's interview with Putin. Have a cup of tea and calm down. The world will move on and you'll have something else to complain about. Trust me, you're very predictable.